Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. In this video, we are going to learn about basic introduction about Linux, and then we are going to learn some basic commands, daily usage commands of Linux, which you are going to interact or use if you are going to shift to Linux or you have to deal with any system that is running Linux. Let's say you have just bought a Raspberry Pi and you want, instead of just knowing about its GUI, you want to know some commands, or you are following some tutorial on Raspberry Pi and they are running some commands and you want to know what those command means, right? So that is the target of this video. After following this video, I'm sure that you will be able to do some basic work on Linux systems even if you are not given the UI. So starting with what is Linux. So Linux is an open source operating system, right? If you write what is Linux on Google, this is what you're going to get. It's an open source operating system like uh, it's an operating system. That means it's something like Windows or Mac, but both of those operating systems are not open source. That means they are not free, right? Linux is totally free, right? And it's an operating system that is running on almost everything, that is running on a nitty gritty tiny uh, embedded system, and it is running on the world's most powerful supercomputer. In fact, all the supercomputers in the world that ranks among the top 500 in power, in compute power, are running Linux. Okay, so which Linux to use? And when we say Linux, we heard a lot of names like Ubuntu, Fedora, SUSE, Arch Linux, CentOS, Red Hat, etc. So what are they, right? So it's a famous saying in Linux community, and that is that there's a Linux for everyone, right? So what does that means? Basically, at the core of the operating system, the core thing is kernel, and that is the same for every Linux. When we say Linux, that means that kernel is the same. Kernel is something, a tool or a collection of softwares in layman's term, that handles the complexities of the hardware. Okay, but on the top of that, other things are different. And from a new person's perspective, the thing that is different is the GUI. Means, what is GUI? Like, GUI is all this, the icons, the style of the windows, everything that you interact with, right? So the question is which Linux we should use, right? Okay, so I personally recommend Linux Mint to newcomers, right? This OS, this has a UI that is very much similar to Windows Vista, right? And another good thing about this is that this is based on Ubuntu, and when someone new is coming towards Linux, uh, he or she usually need to Google things and Google find tutorials, and the Linux which has the maximum number of tutorials available for it is Ubuntu. So every tutorial for Ubuntu is going to work on it. But we want ease for you, so you can see here the images. These are very much similar to Windows Vista, and if you are coming from the Windows background, that this is the one most suitable for you. And another benefit of this particular Linux is that it is very lightweight. So if, let's say, you don't want to run Linux on your main computer, you either want to create a virtual machine, which we are going to make a video on how to do that, or you want to run Linux on your very old school system. Let's say you have a Pentium 4 laptop laying around in the backyard of your home, and you want to give it a new life, and someone told you that Linux can do that, right? Yes, Linux can do that. I would say you should go for this one. So it also has three different desktops, all looks almost the same. The lightest one is this one, XFCE1, right? If your system is fairly powerful, you can go with the Cinnamon one. Cinnamon is my personal favorite. Okay, enough with the introductory part. Let's come to doing some hands-on and learning about some commands, right? Okay, so I have made a list of a few commands which are very useful in daily basis work. Okay, right. So if you click on the terminal, this is something, the old school uh, or like thing going to be opened, or something similar to a hacker's window, right? You may have seen hackers writing code on something like this, right? This is a CMD, command line interface. Okay, so when you're going to open a terminal, there are two ways to do that. Either you open it by the GUI, or you press Control Alt and T. Like I'm going to press it right now. Okay, it's going to open a terminal, a fresh terminal. The terminal is going to open and it's going to be running inside uh, the directory or the folder of your home, right? Okay, so let's start with the very first command, that is pwd. Pwd means the present working directory. If you want to know where I am standing right now, then you can write this command. Okay. Okay, so it's told you that this is the location where it is present right now. Okay. Next command is ls, list. If you're going to type, like obviously if you open a if you open some folder, right, you see the contents there, right? If you want to know the contents present inside your currently working directory, then you can write a command ls and it's going to print that. Okay, the third important command is cd, change directory. Now I have created a folder, Linux tutorial. I changed my working directory to that one, and if I ls, this is totally blank. If I check its location, this is where it is. Okay, it's at home emamba Linux tutorials. Okay, good so far, right? Okay, by the way, all the commands I'm telling in this video are going to run on any Linux, no matter which Linux you are working on. Okay. Okay, so the next command is make directory, mkdir. For making a directory or a folder, you write mkdir, then you write the name of the folder, let's say testing folder. You press the enter, and now if I ls, it will show me that a new directory has been created. To shift to that directory, okay, if you type some initial characters or of the name and then you press tab, the further part is going to be automatically written. Okay, you went there, say ls pwd, here we are. To go back, this is the command. You write cd dot dot, press enter, you go back. Now you write pwd, this is the location where you are. Okay, so to clean the terminal, now you can see that the terminal is full of text. I want it to clean. There is a command called clean, clear, clear. Press enter, it's going to be cleaned. Next important command is touch, touch, touch. That is to create a blank file. You write touch, press enter, then you give it a name of new file, say new file.txt, press enter. Now a new file would be created, right? Okay, now if we want to add some text to this file, this is the command to do that. You say nano, press space, type the name of the file, press enter. Now this is the command text editor that would be open inside the cmd. Now if you write some text here, you want to say hi, I am learning Linux, right? Now if you want to save this, you press Control X, then you press Y, then you hit enter. The contents are saved. The next important command is to print the contents of any file, that is cat, press cat, type space, type the name of the file, print enter. These are the contents inside this file. The next important command is file. If you want to know the type of the file, you want to know the properties of the file, then you write a command file, and then you write the name of this, and now it's told you that it's a text file of ASCII characters, right? Okay, another important thing is, if let's say you forget about the use of any command, you can do this. Let's say for example I want to check what cat do, then I type --help, right? It's going to print me the way it can be used and its purposes, etc. Or another way is, which works with usually most of the commands, is ~h and you press enter, right? So this flag is not going to work with cat, but it's going to work with majority of the utilities available in Linux. Okay, so these are the two ways available for majority of the commands. Okay, the next command is removing directory. Now you see there are two things inside our directory which we are working in, right? And these two are file and a directory. To remove a file, you simply write rm, right? And then you write the name of the file. You press tab, the name is here, it's going to be removed. But if you do the same with the folder or directory, it's not going to work. Showed you an error. For that, there is a flag. This is the flag, -r. If you give -r and run this, it's going to remove the directory. Clear so far? Nice. Moving, let's make a new directory. Say, name it testing folder. And let's create a blank file. Say test text.txt. Okay, now we have these contents. We want to move this file inside this. So this is the command to do. mv, you write mv, you type the name of the file, then you write the name of the directory, press enter. Now contents are not present here. If you use ls testing, it showed you the contents or the list of the contents present in this directory. Now you can see that I am in this directory, but I printed the contents of this particular directory by giving its name to ls. Another way to do that would be I type cd, I go to that directory, then I type ls, then I come back to the original directory. That was a lengthy process. Okay, good so far? Right. The next thing is installing any utility or installing any package. Okay, so this is the thing that's going to be different for two different classes of Linux distributions. Okay, if you're working on any Linux distribution that is based on Debian, right, or Ubuntu, it's going to be making use of a utility called apt to install packages, new softwares. But if you are running on something that is based on CentOS or Red Hat, that it is going to use yarn, YARN. Okay. Linux Mint, which I recommended you, is going to use apt. The other syntax, other style, or other part of the command are same. Okay, first of all, in order to install anything in your system, you need to have a sudo super user ss on your system that says sudo, and for that you need to know the password of your system. Okay, let's say I want to install anything, like let's say sudo apt install pinta, right? Hit enter the password. It's going to start make an attempt to install it. Oh, by the way, this package is already installed. If it's already installed, it's going to show you that it's already installed, nothing is upgraded or upgradable. Okay, that is it for this video. In the next few videos, we are going to know how to create a virtual machine and how to remotely access another system through Linux. Thank you very much.